Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Before we begin today's session, we have a very quick and happy announcement for you guys. We are extremely happy to share that ISO 27002 badge at Cyber GRC is now completely full. Congratulations to you, sir. All 25 seats have been taken and the registrations are officially closed. The response has been incredible and it clearly shows that people today want practical implementation knowledge, not just theoretical understanding. So, yeah, to everyone who secured their seat, congratulations. You are about to gain clarity on how security controls are actually implemented in the real organization. And for those who couldn't make it up, this time you definitely missed a valuable opportunity, honestly. So, but don't worry, maybe not this year, but we will definitely bring the ISO 27002 batch back again next year. So, stay connected with Cyber GRC and make sure next time you don't miss your seat. And now we will begin with our today's session. Okay, so welcome back to the morning gupshup. Today we are doing something slightly different. Instead of talking only about the theory, we are going to discuss the real life scenarios that professionals face while working with ISO 27002 controls. So, because in interviews, nobody asks you your definitions anymore, they ask you situations based questions. So, why would you do if an employee misuse access, or what happens if a vendor causes a data breach? These are the questions that actually test whether someone understands the security or just memorizes. Because most of the people just do the theory thing and then they go to the interview round and they got stuck there because they have not implemented it practically, they have not understand it in a scenario based thing, they have just ratta wala thing, they did that and then this got stuck. So today we will walk through some practical scenarios and try to understand how a GRC professional should think and respond and implement the right control. So let's begin with our questions now. The very first question, sir, is while implementing the ISO 27002 controls, how do you handle resistance from business teams who see security controls as blockers? Yes, sir.
Good. Definitely, it's a valuable question, Aditi, to start your podcast of the day, right? And before I
Yeah.
start answering this, let me congratulations to all the enrollers who have enrolled, reserved their seats into the ISO 27002 course, basically. I say this is a course which will be a very valuable to you, particularly who are establishing themselves in GRC domain. This it will definitely add a credibility to your CV, basically, or profile, right? Congratulations to each one of you once again. Now, Aditi, coming back to your question, is all about how the business team resist when we apply the controls, right? See, coming to this, Aditi, this is very practical question, right? Because in real organization, business team often see security controls as a blockers. When we talk about business team, I mean to say like the team which directly work with generating the revenues, like sales team, marketing team, or the finance team. Those are the team we consider as a business team, right? So the interviewer, what exactly is asking out of this question is what you have to understand now. As a candidate, they are trying to know how you handle that situation while still following ISO 27002, basically, right? So let us take a simple scenario or example. Let us think a company blocks personal email address or email access to prevent data leakage. We all know, right? When we use our personal email in the organization, there are a possibilities like we send out official information on the personal email. That is where we call it as a data leakage, right? But the marketing team needs to send a large file over the email. This is what we call it as it is blocking their regular operations, and it might stop their business also, right? So this is a situation where we have to tackle. We first need to
Yeah.
understand the business need here, right? So why the team requires the access to the email? Example, considering back to that same scenario. So first, and we need to understand the business need and requirement also. Then need to explain the team, right, with respect to the security risk in simple terms, where they should be able to understand and follow that, such as possibilities of data leakage or unauthorized access or unauthorized sharing of information, right? Instead of completely blocking the activity, need to implement control solutions like allowing file sharing through appropriate or approved company tools. When I say
Yeah.
company tools, it can be MS Office, OneDrive, Google Drive, SharePoint. Rather than giving access to the personal email ID, company can bring in those controls. These are the controls we talk about: OneDrive, Google Drive, SharePoints. Okay, we can even restrict the domains, which from which domain you can send the mail to which domain. Only authorized vendors should be able to receive the mails, right?
Yeah.
And foremost, we have to monitor those logs. This approach helps or ensures that business productivity continues while security risks are properly managed, which is a practical objective as ISO 27001 controls basically,
Yeah.
right? So basically, Aditi, security should never stop the business. It should enable the business in a secured way rather than stopping it, right?
So
This is my
company
take on
needs
that
to
particular.
monitor everything.
Very
Yeah.
important. That is very important. It applies to all the controls, right?
Oh,
Logging and
perfect.
monitoring is very important, which we have
Yeah.
spoken in a previous podcast also, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for that, Aditi.
Yes. Sir. Anything from you, love sir? Do you want to add something on this?
Mainly, Jant has covered all the points, nicely. One thing only I want to add: don't
Yeah.
directly jump onto the controls. Business does not understand controls. Business understands risks. Okay, so you tell them about the risks first. Like, these are the risks, these are the issues, these are the problem statements that we have, so that they understand the necessity, the requirement of some sort of a safeguard there. Okay, so rather than jumping directly to the control section, I would say start with what will be the risk if we do not do this, and how will this risk impact my business. This should be the approach. Okay, once you make them understand this part, then definitely they will understand the control part as well. But the problem is that people directly jump to controls. They do not make the management understand what are the real issues, what are the impact on the business, how this risk can, if actually risk is, if this risk actually happens, if it materializes, how would this actually impact the business. So this is something that you need to make your management understand for this kind of a scenario, because management only talks about return on investment. And why will somebody invest money on something if they don't see a need of it? Okay, so in order to make them understand the need, in order to make them understand the requirement, you have to make them understand first of all why exactly you need the safeguard in place. Okay.
So I
Yeah.
think, Love, again, the training, awareness and training to the employees and each and every employees at any level plays a crucial role in this, right?
Yes,
They should know the consequence of all these issues, right?
definitely. Yes. And if anybody who is watching from an organizational perspective, yesterday only we concluded a security awareness training batch in one of the biggest banks, international banks, right? So if you want to have similar trainings for your organization, you can get in touch with the numbers which are displayed on the screen, right?
Yeah.
We can help it to conduct in your organization also. We have a 1 day training program as well, we have a 7 days training program as well, we have a 14-day training program as well. Depending upon the requirement, we have different tailor-made packages for you. Okay, so feel free to get in touch and inquire more. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So moving on with our very next question is, an employee left 2 weeks ago, but their system and VPN access are still active. So my question will be, what would you do immediately and how would you prevent this in the future?
This is quite a common security threat that or issues we come across in the company. One of the very common security issues or common, yeah, matter which has been discussed and which we come across in the organizations, right? So basically, when employees leaves but their access is still active, it creates a serious risk of unauthorized access,
Yeah.
right? So the interviewer is checking whether you as a candidate understand proper access governance here and offboarding controls or offboarding process, which plays a crucial role in here, right? See example again, an employee leaves the company but their VPN and email access are still active.
Yeah.
By any chance, Aditi, if someone knows their password, right, or the account is misused, that person could log into the company network and access confidentiality information, right? Even
Yeah.
though the employee is no longer working with the organization, the access is
Still
still
they
there and
can
somebody
access.
else is using that, misusing
Yeah.
that rather than using, right? Then there is a risk, huge risk to the company. So this is a
Yes.
situation. The first step is to immediately disable all system access, email access, VPN access for that particular employee, right? So next,
Yeah.
I would check logging and activity logs basically. Even after disabling, we have to make sure if it is being effectively monitored or basically it has been implemented, even disabling of all these accounts. That is
Yeah.
where this logging and activity logs comes into the picture to verify whether the account was used after the employee left, right? So further to prevent this in future, we need to ensure that there is a formal employee offboarding process where HR team informs IT departments immediately when someone exits or leaves the company. All system accesses should be revoked automatically. There should be a procedure which has to be done automatically the day employee leaves the company. Right?
Yeah.
This can be done using a identity and access management process. This is one of the control which will be implemented. All these controls we will be discussing in this course ISO 27002 basically, right? So
Yeah.
basically, Aditi, if access is not removed on time, a former employee can become a unintended insider threat basically, which is more dangerous. Insider threat is really dangerous to any of the organization more than outsider.
So basically, if
Yes.
an employee leaves the office or organization, the organization needs to be monitor those loggings of those particular employees so
See,
that he
first
cannot
they have to
access.
make sure they disable the accounts access.
Yeah.
Then they have to
Okay.
go again on the monitoring. It's not just they will disable and they will forget on it. It has to be monitored to make sure if whatever the activity has been taken, disabling process has been taken out, it has been effectively implemented also. Right? Once they are clear, then they can close the ticket.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
Yes, love.
And
You have any take on this? Yeah.
yeah.
See, this is a very common problem, Jayant, like you mentioned in the companies nowadays. So we need to understand first of all why this happens, right? Basically, let's say there is a very big position in the company. Let's say the CEO. Now the board has decided that CEO has to resign, and this CEO was working in the company for last 20 years. You can't fire the CEO in one day. Not possible. Okay, because this person needs some amount of time, some amount of bandwidth in order to do knowledge transfer to other people, in order to educate them about certain things that only he or she is aware about, right? So, in these circumstances, companies I have seen do not are not able to basically do a formal offboarding, which actually happens in all the other scenarios. Okay, for example, if a employee leaves a company and he is not at a designated role, like a CEO or a board member or a, you know, head of the department. If it's a normal employee, definitely they will do the termination on the last day itself. I have not seen a scenario where they will actually, uh, leave it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But whenever there is a high position involved, there I have seen these cases happening. And so, first of all, when you have such a scenario, always document it. That is the first thing that you need to do. Okay, you generate some sort of a documentation around that, because these are not the norms, these are the exceptions. You have to understand that. Okay, so this is basically an exception management that you have to do in these cases. You have to understand why this exception is made, for how long this exception has been made, who is approving this exception, what all access do these people have. Do they have laptop also? Do they have email access? Do they have VPN access? Check all types of access this person has actually. And whoever is approving this from authority, because this is always happening in the higher roles, like I said, you ask them for a time period, like is it 2 months, is it 2 weeks, like what, how exactly, you want me to put a time frame around this. You should ask this question, because it can't be forever. Okay, in some cases I have seen in the past, people have been using the systems after 6 months also. I've seen that. Okay, and few cases it was 2 months also. But definitely time has to be defined, and then these exceptions have to be periodically monitored, like you mentioned. We need to have a periodic monitoring on these. We need to have a periodic check on these, so that we have automated mechanisms to alert us when this time comes, and we should be able to close the access as required. Okay, but again, this problem is very common, like I mentioned. So take all the necessary approvals and take all the necessary precautions in this case, because these cases will always come. There will never be a scenario that you can prevent this 100%, because whenever there will be a high role involved, these type of things will happen, right? So
Yeah.
the only thing is how to manage this more effectively, should be one thing that you need to look from an information security perspective. Okay.
Definitely, definitely so.
So I think, Love, out of your inputs, key point what we have to consider, or each one of our viewers should note here, is the formal offboarding process for a C-level executive, or the formal offboarding procedure for the normal employees. It differs. So we
Yes.
should know that as well here,
Yeah,
Yes.
right? As a GRC professional, you should be very clear on that,
Yes.
right?
But the
Very
problem is that no one talks about this,
true,
because these are real challenges on the ground that we only see in the
very
organizations.
much.
But somebody who is a fresher, they won't be able to answer at this level in the interview. And that is why we say that you give the interview, but at the end of the day, you do not get a call back. These are the reasons.
True.
yeah. Because people are not aware of this, how to answer these types of questions. So we are here to tell you like how you can answer these kind of questions. So feel free if anybody wants to ask something that they got stuck in their real life. We are here to give their answers too. So yeah,
Right. Again, Aditi, let us make it very clear. A candidate don't have to answer so much of things, whatever me and Love discussed here. It's all about understanding the concepts,
yeah,
Yes.
right? Which
Yes.
is most important. You should know what is access management, what is this identity access management, right? So once you know how that control works, then you should be able to answer the interviews, question in the interviews, right?
yeah. Obviously, if the people are clear with their main concept, what they have to say, then they can answer it in their own form. We are here to help to make them perfect in the main concept only. So yeah, feel free, anyone, if our viewers are seeing this, feel free to comment. We are here to question answer your question. So till then, moving on with our next question, sir. Okay, so you join a company as a GRC professional and find there is no proper IT asset inventory. My question will be, how would you start building an asset management process, and why is it important in ISO 27002?
Very good question, Aditi. Definitely, because see, in security there is a principle. They say you can't protect what you don't know if it exists, basically. Right? It
Yeah,
says you can't protect what you don't know if it exists, basically. That is why this asset inventory is one of the foundation control of ISO 27002. Most of them, they think it's a document, making out a preparing a list of assets. They think it is an as document, whereas it is one of the control. We should
yeah,
be able to differentiate what is document, what is documentation, what is control. Right? Let us imagine a company has about 50 laptops and a server, right? Several cloud server, basically servers, but there is no proper record of them. There is no inventory of all those assets, and one laptop by any chance gets lost, or we can say server is running out of the updates, and that IT team doesn't not even know about if this exists in their infrastructure, right? In that situation, the organization can't manage security risk properly. If they don't know what all the list of inventories assets they have, it how will they manage the risk?
yeah,
They can't go on prepared for the risk at the time when they identify the asset. After losing the as like laptop, then they can't go behind like implementing a control for that, right? Rather than they should be prepared for all the situations,
yeah,
right? So as a part of solution and as a GRC professional, the first step, one should be able to identify and list of all the assets. Like when we talk about asset, it can be a laptop, servers, software application, licenses, cloud systems. They need to create a central asset register, which you are going to learn in these classes, how to create asset register, how to make it a centralized asset register, right? This is where all in this particular asset register, all the details will be there. Who is the owner of the asset? What is the location of the asset? What is the purpose of that asset? And how you classify that when it comes to security postures, right?
yeah,
We need to have a proper owner for each and every assets here, and we have to define a responsibility for that as asset owner, right? So this
yeah,
plays a very crucial when it comes to security posture. One need to have a proper asset register, right? See, in cybersecurity, you can't secure what you can't see or what you can't track. So for that, you have to make sure you have a proper list of assets.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
definitely.
Yes, Law.
So basically, again, this is a very common issue that I have seen across the organizations. So what they do, basically, whenever we start the implementation of ISO 27001, they basically give you a SPOC, which is a single point of contact. Okay, and this SPOC basically mostly I've seen from IT only. Okay, now this SPOC, single point of contact, from his or her ability, from his or her understanding of the business, they will give you asset list. Okay,
Yeah,
but this is the problem statement actually, because this person is not at the top. This person does not know what are the different business aspects of these assets. How much impact can each asset have on the business? Forget about that. He will not even know what the HR might be using on their side because he's from IT, right? So that is where this is a wrong approach. Do not do this, first of all, because this is how implementations fail. Okay. What you do, you ask each and every head of the department to assign a particular business person from their team. A business owner should designate a person from their team to define assets for that particular department. And then you collate a list of all the departments together. That's how you create an asset list. This is the right way to do it actually.
yeah,
If you do it saying that only one person, see, that one person could be from HR also, that one person could be from anywhere. But do you think one person would be able to give you a business list of all the assets? I don't think so. So now this has to be a cumulative approach when all the departments come together and form a list of joint assets for the entire business. Only then this problem can be taken care of at a practical level.
Yeah.
And like Jayant mentioned, if you don't have a proper asset inventory, how will you know what all risks are there and how will you deploy controls? Those are impossible things, right? So having a right list of assets is the first and foremost thing. And people who are watching, you will be amazed to know that this is one of the biggest problems that we see in the implementation at a day-to-day basis. The asset sheets are not correct, actually. It's a very common problem. So, Aditi, from this podcast, whatever questions you are addressing are
Yeah.
the practical challenges that organizations are facing, right? So, people have to be very mindful when they watch these podcasts and they should be able to answer these questions in the interview now.
And with this, we have one question here from Bharat. So he is asking, like yesterday, I got a question how application risk assessment is done, especially for cloud app. Thank you, Bharat, for asking this question. Anything, Lafsan and Jansa, you want
Go
to
ahead,
add
love.
to
Yeah, you can
this?
take it up. Yeah.
Application risk assessment is done through, first of all, VAPT. Any application that you need to test, you want to find out vulnerabilities, you have to do a VAPT. You do a vulnerability assessment, you do a penetration testing on that application, be it on the cloud, be it on the on the premise. For any application, Bharat, VAPT is your first thing that will give you what all risks are there in that application. Okay. Vulnerability assessment, many people do, Bharat. Let me tell you one more thing from my practical experience. Penetration testing, hardly anybody does. Okay. But until and unless you will do the PT, you will not be able to find out the application related vulnerabilities actually. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how you do it for any application. Okay. Be it on the cloud or on premise. It doesn't matter actually. Good question, Bharat. Thank you so much for asking. Good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just wrap this session here only. Anything ending, Lafsan and Jansa, you want to add to give to the viewers?
See, go ahead. Then go ahead.
No, no, it was just look, yeah, good, definitely. It's a see, it's a very good opportunity if somebody wants to learn all this implementation of controls, right? I
Yeah.
think to my best knowledge, no, I haven't seen anywhere like somebody is teaching you practically on ISO 27002 part, which is all about controls, right?
Yeah.
So really, congratulations, somebody who's able to take the decisions and get enrolled. You are going to witness that changes in you now, just after these classes, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lavanya.
So, yeah, first of all, it's a huge commitment, I would say. 80 to 100 hours is a very huge commitment from our side also and from a learner side also, because people also have to spare their precious time. Okay.
Yeah.
And in today's world, time is the currency. Time is the, is the thing that nobody wants to give you actually. People will give you money, but they won't give you time, right? So that is why I would say definitely commit to yourself, commit to your growth, and commit to your career. If you are really committed towards your growth, you will definitely join this course. This shows the commitment of individuals.
Yeah.
And most of the people who have joined us in this batch, out of 25 people who have enrolled, most of them were already our previous students who did not even took a second to decide and make a payment. They did not even thought about. They said if you are launching this, we are going ahead with this. That's it. Okay, so this shows the level of commitment that one has for their career. This shows
Yeah.
the level of commitment somebody has on their growth. See, I would say only one thing. If you are not investing on yourself, why would a company invest on you? Very simple. You have to invest on your growth. Only then somebody will invest on you. If you are not careful about your career, if you are not careful about your growth, why would somebody care for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about all these things, and these are the reasons why people have midlife crisis. These are the reasons why people do not get jobs. These are the real problems that the industries are facing, because nobody wants to commit for 80 to 100 hours because they think it's a too much.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't understand the benefits out of it that you will get. Okay, good then. Anything
Yeah.
else, Aditi?
Yeah, so thank you so much, sir, for your time, and that brings us the end of the today's morning gupshup.
Let us
If
say
there
thanks
is,
to Ankit Kumar also there. He has mentioned
yeah,
that thanks, right?
thanks
Yeah.
for the session. So, if there is one takeaway from today's discussion, is this that knowing ISO 27001 is good, but understanding how to apply ISO 27002 in real situation is what makes your job ready. So, if you want to learn these control with real implementation clarity, our ISO 27002 is badge has already will started in of 9th of March at Monday to Friday 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. And if you guys have enrolled in this session, that's very great, congratulations to those. And if you are not enroll yourself in this batch, it's okay, we will be coming back with this until the next time. See you in the next session of the morning workshop. Thank you so much everyone for joining. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you to Aditi. Thanks to all the viewers. Bye bye.
Yeah.